Ahoy hoy everybody, and welcome to the video. I'm your new friend Obsidian Demon, and this is Warhammer for Dummies, Part 3, The Rise and Fall of the Eldar. Now, if you know anybody who is, let's face it, someone who probably ate paint chips as a kid, but you're just too friendly not to mention it, this could be your, anybody you know. Mom, dad, sister, brother, cousin, best friend, worst enemy, doesn't matter. Please, if they are interested in learning about Warhammer lore, go ahead and send them this video and tell them I will go ahead and take that burden off your shoulders, and I'll go ahead and teach them for you. That being said, let's get into the video. Now, after the war in heaven was over, the galaxy was more or less left to the Eldar and the Krorks. However, the Eldar are kinda assholes, and this would lead to millions of years of culling campaigns that would ultimately lead to modern-day orcs, but we'll be talking about the orcs in future content, I promise. Trust me, the green boys are just the best. However, you have the Eldar. Now, the Eldar are the living embodiment, the incarnation of the warp itself. They are the true children of the warp. And the Eldar were created by the Old Ones to pretty much fight the Necrons and Catan by using unimaginable psychic ability. Something that the Catan and Necron had no defense against. And more or less was one of the reasons, next to the Krork, that made the Necrons go into the Great Sleep, betray their gods, and kind of put their head in the sand. So the Eldar are pretty amazingly tough in this respect. Now, who are they and as a species? Well, they are some of the most literal beings you'll ever know, and they have the most overpowering emotions that one could imagine. Their souls are also completely and entirely unique, and something that is a source of power, but also a huge curse for them right now. But we'll get into that. Now, the Eldar, in this early point, were functionally immortal because of their ability that when they died, they could just simply reanimate through go through the warp, resurrect into a new body, and poof, there you go. They were functionally immortal, and this would allow the Eldar to live for millions of years. And with immortality and, comes boredom. And unfortunately for the Eldar, they began to experiment with things like pain and pleasure. Now, I know what you're thinking. Whips and leather chains, sounds like fun. However, the kind of pain and pleasure they experimented with, let's just say, doesn't have a safe word. And even if it had a safe word, they would just tell you fuck you and just keep going anyways. So, not the kind of fun that you would want or would ever invite. Now, this began very subtle, very, very secretive at first through pleasure cults, and they would recruit people and over time would ultimately bring you into the group where you could experience these things. Now, with time and more people learning about these cults, they became pretty public afterwards and was pretty much in everyone's face. Now, this caused a huge rift in Eldar society where they didn't want to see their race fall, but they didn't know exactly how to deal with them and how to deal with this crisis. Many Eldar just decided to simply fucking leave when they realized that, their brothers and sisters were putting things up each other's asses that shouldn't be there. They just fucked off to the far fringe of the galaxy and decided to ride dinosaurs and talk to trees. The other ones decided to get into the RV that, we call craft worlds and then just roam around the galaxy and, try and preserve what of Eldar society they could. While the rest of the Eldar pretty much just went into the worst level of debauchery and the worst level of evil that you could imagine, and it just descended worse and worse and worse. Now, all of this suffering, pain, and just horrifying amounts of unconsensual sex, this would lead to putting an unimaginable amount of negative psychic energy into the warp in the form of all these souls, and this would cause the warp to become not exactly what you call a very nice placid place, and it wouldn't really allow for the resurrection and to happen. And this would ultimately lead and build up over time and would lead to the birth of an actual fucking god. Now, this god, when was born, was Slaanesh, and the psychic scream when Slaanesh was born was so magnificent and so terrifying that it claimed the lives of trillions of Eldar in an instant, stripping their souls away and consuming them in an instant, and utterly breaking the fabric of the galaxy as we know it. And it would basically cause the biggest hemorrhoid known to the galaxy for millions of years afterwards as the Eye of Terror. All of this because they wanted to put stuff up their ass that didn't belong there. What can you say? The Eldar are weird people. Very weird people. Now, after the birth of a god, the Eldar were very much a broken and very disunited race. You had the Exodite Eldar on the far fringes of the galaxy riding their dinosaurs, and the Craft Worlders, going on galactic road trips. But then you also had another subset of them, these assholes who kind of caused all the problem. They went into the Webway and into a place called Komora, and they became known as the Dark Eldar. Now, these guys are pretty horrific in every way you can imagine. The best way, to a person of your intelligence would truly understand is just imagine Pinhead from Hellraiser along with all the Xenobites and the things they do in those movies, and then you kind of got what a Dark Eldar is. So there you go. You also have the Ynnari, which are basically Eldar who are pledged to the Eldar god of death, and let's just say some cool things like come out of there. So the Eldar are a race that, let's just say, fucked themselves into oblivion, and their current situation is no one else's fault but their own. And that, everybody, is the twisted, wonderful, fucked up world of the Eldar and their weird history that kind of fucked up everyone else in the galaxy. So, yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and learned a little bit something. After all, this is Warhammer for Dummies, and, I am trying to educate as best I can. So I really do hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to hit that like button, and also make sure to hit that subscription button as well, and make sure to hit the little bell with all the notifications, so that way you know when new videos are coming out. Thank you very much for watching, everybody, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.